All right. Hello and welcome to Mastermind. Our mission is to build $1 million businesses so that we can have financial freedom, time for our families, and make an impact in our communities. Let's kick it off with some big wins. Daryl, lead the way.
Yeah. Yesterday, I followed up with a client that I've worked for several times over the years. I bid her exterior. I've never bid anything quite this big for her, but it was $19,000. I bid it like 2 weeks ago and they were out of town a lot. So I just followed up with her via text, but we're really
Hmm.
close. She's got my personal cell phone, one of very few clients that have that. So, anyways, she's like, yes, I've been meaning to reach out to you and send you a deposit check. So I got her $19,000 job. And then there was another job for a repeat client. It was a $29,000 exterior who I did not follow up with because I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to do the job, not because it's the client. It's just, we've been doing so many big jobs, but he is a repeat client next door to another repeat client. So he emailed me yesterday and said, hey, where do I send my deposit check? I want you to do my job. So that was a $29,000 job. So like, wow. Yeah, we're booked out quite a ways.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. We did not follow up and close them.
I know it. I don't recommend that. I just wasn't sure if I wanted the job.
Yeah, I understand. That's awesome. All right. Thank you. Craig?
The big win was I was off all last week, took family time, and it was great. It was great. The crew managed on their own, and yeah, I'm just really pleased about that.
Fantastic. Okay. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Florian, big wins?
Hey, good morning, guys. Big wins. Close the cabinet job. That was for 200. We're going to start the day. I want actually even a Sunday because they're working people. They asked me on Saturday. I was busy, so I went on Sunday to figure out the color, and they really appreciate my time for Sunday because nobody goes on Sunday, guys. How it goes, but that is they follow me through Google search. It's the cabinet job starting today. And then they want to do the garage floor and the garage walls, but they're hesitating. So I was giving them a price and I didn't want to get it right away because, oh, let me talk to my wife and this and that. But he decided on Sunday he's going to do on October. So that's another 3,300 to
Wow.
do that. Yeah. So it's like $2,000 to do the garage floor and 1,300 to do the walls and the ceiling. That's a big win. Also, my crew, there are 4 people. There are 4 people working for me, but separate in 2 crews. But tomorrow we're gonna go on one job site, which is like we try to finish that apartment because it's been a long time. So I'm gonna put everybody tomorrow, and they agree about. So by Friday, that's our goal to finish that. So let's see how it goes. So those are my big
Okay.
wins for this time.
Yes, sir. Right on. Thank you, Florian.
Thank you.
Punch, otherwise known as Jesus.
My big wins here is it's communication. So I told the guys that I have remaining, let's improve on communication and update everything on Monday.com on the updates section. And also too, I told him to create a little group texting so I know what he's telling the customer. So that way I don't have to be wondering or thinking to myself I should be emailing them or if he did. And we're not saying the same thing. So it's communication. It's improving
Yes,
nicely.
sir. Right on. Very good. Thank you. Sonia.
Oh, okay. So I've been working, with on client acquisition and with lots of prayer. And again, I haven't been following up on anybody, and the clients have been calling me back. That's been wonderful. One of them that I did not close on the spot called me back, and it's a $10,000 job. So, yeah,
Wow.
I know. I was like, and I've had another one too that this one called me back from a project that we did before. And that one came out to, I think it was 8,800 interior for a few things for minor wall remediation and that. So it's coming back. I'm
Good.
exhausted right now because trying to get the crews back on together, and communication is one of my but to improve, but getting things done as well. That book that you recommended has been helping me at least get the systems in process, because all the wonderful books that you provided with, like listening back on the Slight Edge and the Atomic Habits, and just getting back on that has been getting me back in the grind and being
Yeah.
a little more systematic. It's a lot of work still, but it's at least getting those processes back flowing.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Love to hear that. And then I shared the intro to the CD version in the group me chat. Did anybody catch that for, pardon me, the Slight Edge?
I don't remember.
Oh, the intro.
Jesus,
Yeah.
did you? Yeah, did you listen to it, Jesus?
Yes, so I have the book as well too. Steve recommended that a while back, and I did listen to it. It's really good. It reminds me
Okay.
of the compound effect as well.
Yeah, very much. They both have the same mentor, Jim Rohn, so it makes sense. But did you listen to the intro, the clip I shared with you guys in the group me chat, in the mastermind chat?
Yeah, how he talks about the
Okay.
beginning of what the slight edge is.
Yeah, great though, isn't it? Isn't that awesome?
yeah.
Like, I love listening to that intro. It's 30 minutes of just awesomeness.
He basically sums up the whole book in those 30 minutes.
I know. You're like, I don't need to read the book. I'm ready to go. Let's get it. Yeah, cool. Okay, guys, make sure you circle back and listen to that intro. It's just awesome.
I'm
It's
writing it
30
down right
minutes
now.
of okay, and just scroll up and look for it. If you don't see it, if you scroll up, then go ahead and email me. I'll send it back to you. But please scroll up first too. There he is.
Yeah.
Craig's got it.
Yeah.
It's a Google Drive file. Okay. All right. And Bryce, big wins, buddy. Just in time.
Awesome. We sold a large commercial project, so about 14.5K, and their deposit just came in, thank the Lord. And there's a lot more work that needs to be done on this office complex, so it could be a lot more. So that's a big win.
Okay. Right on. Glad to hear it. Thank you. All right. Daryl, what's one thing we could brainstorm for you such that might make everything else easier and or unnecessary?
Okay. So I've been discussing in the fall, probably late September, maybe even earlier, having my guys team up and go door to door. I've thought about either doing it myself or that's the only option I have, but I'm going to have my guys go because I have two guys that are really good that could go door to door. And we've just been so busy. My flyer's been sitting under my pool table over there for a year and a half that I've had them just because our calendar's been completely full. But we're wanting to get ahead of the game on this one because you never know what winter is going to do, especially this winter. But I was thinking if my team is out and they're talking to somebody because they're really good communicators and someone's, hey, I'd like to book an appointment on Tuesday. And they have an option to say, we can go to the website and go to, you can book me, blah, blah. They could do that. But I would think there's an app that my guys could have on their phone where they could actually set up an appointment right there on the spot. Is there apps where somebody's calendar can link up to Google Calendar, or am I going way too far left?
Hold on. So I just want to make sure I'm tracking so that they can schedule an estimate for you.
Yeah. If they're on the spot with a client.
Yeah. They can just enter it into You Can Book Me for them.
So is there an app for that? Because I've never actually, they're going to have to go to the website on their phone. I'm just trying to figure out the easiest way to do it.
You don't need an app. It's mobile friendly. So just whether pull up the website on the phone or you can grab the direct You Can Book Me link. You have a direct You Can Book Me link too. And they could save a shortcut to their phone.
I've had You Can Book Me for 2 years and I never knew I had a direct link.
Yeah,
I never go to You Can Book Me.
Well, yeah, there's never really, it's not a common thing to need. You know, you plug it in your website.
Okay, that might be the easiest way because one thing I don't want, because we let a lot of things slide because I've noticed my guys have handed out business cards, which is really good. I usually give my guys $50 cash if they sell a job with their business card. But what I've noticed is I'd come to the job, hey, did you get a call from so-and-so? I'm like, no. So I got to thinking, man, I need to have these guys booking on the spot.
Capture those leads. Yeah. So have them just used it. Don't add another entry point into your into your flow, your life of a lead. Just stick with You Can Book Me. That way you don't have to map across all the information and they're entering in the same data, going through the same process, working their way through the same funnel through the life of a lead there. And all the data gets entered and zapped into all your apps appropriately.
Okay, that's really good. Do you guys ever get like people off the street that approach your team and then they tell you about it and you never hear from them? That happens a lot.
I've had a few where do you mean like they'll approach them or who doesn't hear from them? Like the client?
Yeah, like someone sees them at the gas station, say, hey, I want a business card. I want to get my house looked at. And then you don't know who that person is because you didn't communicate with them. And then you don't know how to get a hold of them and then you never hear from them. And that's where
okay. I've had both. I've had where they've communicated with them and I don't remember if they exchanged a phone number. I think they did because I was able to follow up with one. It was one of them I did. They were painting the house or whatever. and they came by and they asked them for their information. And another one, I think people were driving around and they saw my truck and they called, it was a while back, and they said, yeah, we had met them at the Sherwin-Williams paint place and got to hear, but they weren't good. They weren't quality, like your A game. That's the only thing that I've run into, but they have
That's
called.
cool. Yeah, but I think there's a few jobs a year I could probably get if I could just. I think I'll create an SOP for my guys when we get approached by a customer to have that we're gonna get that you can book me link set up on their phone immediately. That way they can, instead of giving them a business card, we're gonna give them a business card and set up that appointment right then and there. So that's what I'm gonna do, because that's gonna be cool because nobody else is doing that.
Nice.
Yeah, sweet, thank you. That helps a lot.
Welcome, Craig. You're up.
I just had one of my painters leave. Thankfully, she was the least productive painter, so it actually increases efficiency, I think. But anyway, I'm in the position where now I'm down to 3 people. So I've got a couple of options moving forward. So I had them split into 2 crews of 2. One, there was a guy with one of my guys has a vehicle that he's transporting the tools around with. So it was him and another lady who has a car, but was not transporting any of the tools around. And then a guy that's on public transit. And he was paired with a lady that left who had a truck that was transporting tools around. Previously, I had it where one person had the tools and one person didn't have the tools. So 2 crews of 2, they were able to move their tools around and whatnot. I'm thinking of hiring another person, but I'd like that person to have a vehicle so that they can transport the tools around. Or the other option is to pay the lady with the car a little extra to transport tools around and then rejig the crews that way.
I would highly recommend black and white issue, vehicle, valid license, clean record is a 100% mandatory. I have. I'm in a weird situation. I have 2 people that don't have a vehicle today, but they had it when they began, and it's created a huge problem.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. Well, no, they're getting their trucks fixed. But my one guy yesterday, he rode 5-6 miles to work on his bicycle. Didn't have his tools. Wasn't his fault. His transmission went out. I will not hire anymore without all that.
You're though in a different market than I am. I'm in Toronto. It's easy to get around the city on public transit. And
no, I get that.
But
it's
difficult to get around the city in a car because it's so much construction.
And probably difficult to park too. I remember that in San Diego. It was very difficult to park. We wouldn't even drive our car. I would Uber or walk.
Wow.
Just about
Did
everywhere.
they just take tools with them if they Uber? How does that work?
So when they're split up into crews of 2, one has the tools with them, one does not.
Okay.
So that's how we work it. And yeah, that's how we work it. Or previously, if both crew members were on public transit, I would be the one that's dropping off the tools, which is a hassle, but we made it work.
Do you have a hiring ad posted currently?
I turned it off just because I was fully staffed. So I need to turn it back on.
Yeah, I would turn it back on, and I'd look for somebody with a vehicle, because you need that flexibility. You need that operational efficiency. And if you've got one of the vehicle, there's got to be another painter in town with a vehicle. And I would hold to that for efficiency.
Yeah. The other thing is one of the crew members has a vehicle, is just not using it for tools. So I could see if she wanted to use it for tools and just pay her a little extra for transporting the tools around.
Yeah, you could, but I'd really like to see you get back to 4, especially coming into winter. I'd see you get to 5, 6 come into winter and hold 4 through the winter. So I would encourage you to push forward rather than downshift.
Yeah, I would like to keep 4 people going throughout the year. It's just it's so much better when I have the option of like splitting them off into 2 crews of 2 or combining all 4 for larger projects.
Indeed. So let's do. So we're going to do. This is a quick mental project, okay? And everybody can participate in this, and this is fun. So, however many painters you have on staff, think for a minute of how hard you'd have to work to double them. So if you have, say, 3, think of how hard you'd have to work to find 3 more. If you have 4, how hard would you have to work to find 3 more? And I want you to sit with this for a minute and be present to it and really think this through to yourself. This is a mind exercise. How hard would you have to work to find 4 more painters? 4 more painters, right? How many ads would you have to place? How many applicants would you have to screen, right? How many interviews would you have to set up? How many references would you have to call? Okay. How much proactive recruiting would you have to do? Meaning intentionally stop off at Wendy's, intentionally stop off at Home Depot or Lowe's, not to buy anything, but to stop and to look, to proactively recruit for quality people, right? How hard would you have to work for more people? How does that feel? Does that feel tough?
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Okay, good. I want you guys to feel that. Feel how hard that would be, right? Feel how hard that would be. Okay, now here's the exercise. You ready? How hard would it be just to go find one now? Much easier would it be just go find one? Pretty cool, huh? One just became much easier. So perceptual contrast.
Very good.
What you learned here. All right, Florian, you're up.
Yeah, so my question is, because I'm 4 guys, 2 crews, so they are working in 2 different job sites. Like I mentioned before, like tomorrow I'm gonna go on a spray. So yesterday I'm on a job site of those 2 guys. I said, listen, by tomorrow I want everything to get done. So they say, yeah, sure. It looks like they got 50% and I hope they're gonna finish another 50% today. Get ready for Wednesday to do the spraying part and the trim and the doors. Sometimes we have goals like, hey, in 2 days is to be ready. This job site takes more than I was thinking. And it's hard to price, especially, this is a small apartment, but the other big job which I have, they have some beams on the top and it's like I said, okay, it's gonna take 16 hours, but sometimes it takes more than that. I'm trying to finish on time, let's say that based on, let's say like on 16 hours, but sometimes it doesn't. If I push the guys, the quality might go down and you go back again. How to set up this question is like, how I can be sure that I meet my goals? Should I promote them on the job site? Let's say, like, hey, in 2 days has to be done. Please, here's the $50, just go for it. I have done that in the past on some exterior, which exterior is a little bit different because it's bread and butter. There's not a lot of, let's say, like details you don't have as it is interior. So I don't know if I do that, and then I'm afraid the people, my workers, will get spoiled. So they might say, okay, let's get the $50. It's gonna say to us like, hey, here's the $50, let's do it. So I don't know. They have the goals. They say, okay, in 60 hours you have to finish, but it's not gonna happen sometimes. So I'm trying to how to promote those guys, just move on. So is that a good idea, for example? Because I'm desperate to finish that apartment. Hey, here's $50, just finish by Friday, everything is done. Everybody has a $50. So what do you guys think?
I don't like that idea. I don't want to, I don't mean it like that. Just, I don't want to, I don't think giving guys a bonus to finish on time is the issue. I think it's finding the efficiency on your team and finding out where the weak points are. I'd give them a bonus for finishing Thursday, but not on time. But if my team's not finishing on time, it's entirely my fault because I need to find out why they're not doing it. And so I've had those issues before. And so it's sitting down, talking about going over hours and did I bid it high enough? But we know what the job takes. And so maybe we don't have some of the right people on our team. I have one guy that's inefficient, but he's only been with me for about 4 months. He's brand new. So I'm letting that one go. But everybody else, we're doing really well, but it's because they know what they know what the job demands, not necessarily what I do, but what the job demands, especially inside, because we're trying to provide a great experience for that client. And so we don't we're in a master bedroom right now and bathroom. We're spraying ceiling, walls, and trim. We got an oil-based prime everything. And it's a huge mess. My guys were in there for 2 days masking off. But I told the client it's going to take about a week and a half. I told the client it's going to take 2 weeks to do these 3 or 4 rooms we're doing. But my guys know what needs to be done. And they know what the job demands, not what I demand. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If the job should take 2 days to do it. I don't demand 80 hours. I just demand that's what the job requires. And if it doesn't, we need to start at the end of every job, debrief, what went good, what didn't go good, what can I change to help the efficiency go? I mean, if my guys are having to go and chase paint 4 times during the week, there's something wrong with that, because we know what we're doing day one. We should have all that material day one. So there could be some of those things that are falling through the cracks too. Guys chasing materials more often than they should. And we still do it a little bit, but we're also running behind. But yeah, so that's one thing, is find out where they're lacking. Were they chasing too many parts, too many smoke breaks? I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just
sometimes, yeah, it's you put hours for the job site, and that's what I do. That particular job is the ceiling is like 25 feet high, and there's some beams, and that's stained beams. So from downstairs, it looks like, okay, it's fine. But when my guy got there, he goes, I mean, all the beams, they are distressed. There are so many little holes, and we have to do oil base. So it's white. It's gonna show everything. So poor guy is filling up everything. And I said, okay, this thing is gonna take me like 4 days for them to finish. It's gonna take me more. So sometimes we are, let's say, we said 16 or 40 hours, whatever it is, but it takes more. So I'm trying to push the guys in order to, because you know how it is. When I go on the job site, I went 2 weeks ago and I said, oh, here's the bedroom. So I mask the bedroom, whatever it is, they finish the trim, I mask the bedroom by myself, just to show them that. I masked the bedroom in an hour and 15 minutes. I cut and roll everything. And I was like, so I know I'm not expecting them to be as me. It's not gonna happen. But at least like they have the feeling like, okay, we gotta move on. It's sometimes it's not, I gotta make my money, no matter what. So I'm trying to figure out. It happened like I repeated myself again the next year, gotta finish the following day. And I can see, okay, they might not finish. So that's what I did. Hey, $50, everybody that's finished, they get out. I don't know. It's a hard situation how to push them, I think. I gotta be on top of them, of course, and I understand that, which I do. It's not like I don't. But sometimes I have to put my hands on. So this apartment, I have to go on probably Wednesday or Friday, which I have a little bit time free, and I have to work with them just to get out. But they must
do
say,
do
okay,
you have a crew lead, Florian?
I do have, yes.
So I would address it with him and not the team.
Okay,
That's exactly what I would do.
okay.
Because that's what I do, and it works really well. When I see something going sideways on a job, I'm not talking about an emergency, but just something small, things are going wrong. I don't go to Thomas and tell Thomas what he needs to be picking up on or doing. I go to Will, because they have a good relationship anyways.
Uh-huh.
And I'll say, hey man, I've noticed, because Thomas is our new guy, he was painting really old windows and we have to get paint on the glass. I was like, man, he's coming out like 2 inches on that glass. So I said, that's a lot of cleanup. He wasn't paying attention because he was on another part. I said, can you just go over there and show him how to get that not so far out there? Because these are old glazed windows. But I go to Will for anybody with an issue that I see with my team. I'll go to Will, and then Will addresses it. And it's
well, another suggestion for you, when it comes to glass, get that liquid, clear glass, just roll it.
Yeah, we've thought of that. Some of these are freshly glazed and old. It's just a long story. There's a lot going on this one, but yeah, I would address it with your team lead, your crew lead. That's the guy I'd want to invest all my time in.
All right, very good. Thank you, Daryl. Hey, Seuss.
All right, everyone. So Steve already knows this. I've been slammed by working in the business big time. I'm slowly working my way back out, and I know what I have to do, and I'm doing it. Being this thing Steve calls proactive recruiter, I started doing that. And I noticed by doing that, I'm also like making more connections with people. Because usually I go to the store, I don't even talk to no one. Now I'm actually talking to strangers. It's like when I was doing door to door, so it's a good experience. And I know eventually I will land someone that's looking for a different job, just like I did with door to door. So that's my one thing, working in the field. And I had 5 teammates and I dropped down to 3. And I could avoid working in the field, but a part of me, I do love my craft. But if I'm in it for too long, I do hate it. But I don't mind painting at least for 1 hour. but I've been diving in there for 14 to 10 hours. And by doing that, I'm not taking care of my health, eating maybe like one time a day. I feel like I actually lost weight as well, so it's not good. So I need to turn things around quickly.
Yeah, I was at a job and I worked, it was a couple of weeks ago. I went over there, I worked for a couple of hours. And I'm thinking, I got 4 employees. What is my 2 hours going to do to this job? So I was like, I'm not going to do it. But I am in the field tomorrow, but I'm going to be spraying the oil base because so my guys can finish up another job we're on. But yeah, it's a challenge. But I'm out of the field as much as I possibly can be. And so anything that my guys are able to do, I've just decided a while back, except for the 2 hours last week, that I'm just not going to do it. I'm not painting any walls. I haven't touched a brush outside in quite a few years, actually. Why can't I do that on the inside? And so your mentality will change too, because then you got to start working on what Steve said, go and getting that one. I'd rather put my effort into finding that one employee than spending extra hours in the field working, because you can't expand on just you working there. And Nick Slavic says, if you fall off a turkey truck, or what's that going to do to you?
When I fell on the roof that one day.
Yeah.
So along with what Daryl's saying, so did you guys see that post that Isaac that posted his picture in the mastermind chat? What he did?
Put on his white.
Yeah, he threw his whites away. We were in a meeting. He
was-
told me, I said, "Whoa, you need to." I said, "Man, I wish we got a picture of that." He goes, "They're still there." I said, "Run over there, take a picture of those."
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it takes. And back in the day, we didn't have internet, and we had internet. I was like AOL chat rooms, but we weren't communicating with other painting contractors across the nation until the annual expo or whatever and get together. So instead, we would have to read articles of stories of guys in the magazines. And sure enough, almost every magazine, there's a story about how one painting contractor broke his arm, broke his leg. He was out for 6 weeks and sat down and started working on the business and never went back into the field. So we joke around that if you go back out in the field, we're coming by with baseball bats.
That works.
Sounds good.
So just be a proactive recruiter. And then I'm not sure if I shared the story with you guys yet, but Ben Campbell has been doing this with Campbell Painting up in Alaska. And he stopped into a Wendy's and he asked the janitor, "Hey, anybody looking for a better opportunity, a better job?" And the janitor said, "I think my general manager is." And the janitor introduced him to the general manager. And sure enough, he's Steve, she is an all-star. I'm like, yes.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Yes. And so be a proactive recruiter, right? He didn't need anything from Wendy's. I told him, man, stop in there, get an iced tea, water, whatever. And same thing. Stop in a Lowe's, Home Depot, stop into all these places. Don't skip the janitor. The janitor might hook you up with the general manager. You never know.
Wow.
And sure enough, he hired her. He's, oh my goodness, she's an all-star. I'm like, yes, sir. Let's go. Proactive recruiter. Let's go get him. All right. Bryce, you're up, my man.
So I'm like super on the ladder at the moment.
Uh-oh. Daryl, you got the baseball bat?
I do. I have a
Okay.
taser too. That'll knock you off the ladder.
Taser. Oh, taser. I like taser better. That's better. The bat's kind of brutal. I mean,
Yeah, that'll leave a bruise.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, sorry, Bryce. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm super on the ladder right now. I allowed some mismanagement to really put us in a hole financially, and we had several jobs go back to back that just didn't go very well. And I've got some subcontractors. I have a subcontracting team that I've pulled in just to keep things moving. But right now, my main team is just me and a helper. So back to chucking a truck. And in truth, I wish I could just say that it was like, all right, it's time to hire somebody. I just don't have the funds to do it right now. It's like I'm gonna be in this little kind of chucking the truck pattern for at least another 4 or 5 weeks before I can really get serious about bringing somebody else on. And that's not how I want to do it. It's definitely there's definitely a lesson paying penance for not having my systems down. But in about the span of about 4 weeks, I lost about $5,000 and put me in a hole. And so I'm digging out of that now. That's where I'm at. And it's in some ways it's nice because when I do the work, I'm extremely efficient. I'm fast. I'm good. I show up, I bang it out. It gets done and it gets done the right way the first time. And there's no redoing and do-overs and BS and all that sort of good stuff. But at the same time, it's, ooh,
You get
this
burned
is
out.
not why we got into business.
But you said you might be looking for somebody in a month, maybe you'll be ready to hire. Is that what you're
Oh,
saying?
Yeah, hopefully.
So you can still start now because it may take a month.
Sure. That's
I
true.
would-
But
I would-
I don't
I
have the
would do
cash
that.
flow to put out advertising. I can definitely just do some grassroots recruiting, just like we talked
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But the reality is I need somebody who's experienced.
Yeah,
for
I
this,
understand that. I do.
you know.
I put my Google form ad on. I went through all of the community pages in my county, and I posted that on there. I've got a few leads off of that. I sent off one or two applications, but that was free. Took me an hour to get everything set up and do all that. But I'm not efficient on Facebook, so I could have done it quicker. But my point is, I spent an hour putting in all the different community pages, and that was free.
Sure.
And building that relationship with Sherwin is free. I'd be looking now. I feel for you, man, because I was there 2 years ago. It sucked. I wanted to quit my business. I was done because I was burnt out. I don't like that feeling. I like the feeling I'm in now. So I'm going to work to maintain or do better than I'm doing now.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I was
I've
where
been,
you are 2 years ago.
yeah, and I've been at different times in my business. I've been off the ladder. But and the reality as well is like even those experiences being off the ladder, managing people is definitely a challenge. And I was never, I was very, I wasn't quick to that needed to go. I've learned that lesson now where it's like, hey, if someone's fooling around, they need to go. Like you need to hire slow and be quick to let somebody go. And then also to Craig's we're talking about with Craig, it's also I let one guy go because he lost us a job, acting a total fool on a project, and his attitude just got all types of entitled and crappy, and he didn't have a car. And so it was like the cost of employing this guy, and then also the cost of transporting this guy all over the place. And then the fact that, and Craig, I really highly advocate for what everybody is saying about, hey, they need a car. I know it's Toronto. I know it's different, but the truth of the matter is like, oh, hey, boss, I need one more gallon of paint. That guy needs to be able to go get that gallon of paint on his own. Otherwise, you're stuck being the gopher. And really, that's one of the lowest rungs of the totem pole of things that you could do. You're all of us sitting here way overqualified to be like, oh, I'll go run and go grab you another gallon. So he got let go because of his attitude and the fact that he had no transportation and the fact that it was just and he burned a contract by being just a goofball. And then I had another guy who was in charge of prepping a project. I assigned him a helper, and the reality is I wasn't there. And the thing that I find challenging when I'm managing teams is I don't understand this happens, but it's like they don't want to tattle on each other. And it's, hey, I pay your paycheck, and if I'm not making money, there's no job to be had. And it's so if the other guy on site is outside smoking fixed cigarettes every 10 minutes, like that's not okay. That's not all right. And we need to be aware of that. And interesting story or whatever, grown man in his mid 50s, somebody who should have known better. We had a project where we sprayed all the ceilings and all the closets with ceiling paint because we do that all the time, flat white in the closets. And every single closet yellowed really poorly. I don't know why, but they just yellowed in this really strange way. I tell the guy, hey, we're going to have to prime these with oil. I go and I get 3 gallons of primer. I get it set up, all that sort of stuff. And I say, hey, it is really critical that you wear a respirator. Oh, yeah, for sure. I got you. I leave. He never puts a respirator on and he ends up sick for 3 or 4 days. It's just like silly stuff where it's like, I don't talk for my health. It's like I've been doing, and I find so integrity is definitely like key, like super key.
Well, I can tell
It's
you, I
like,
mean, not that I've got everything together, but I don't manage a team. I manage one usually, which is Will. But to go after your question about your team doesn't want to tattle on each other because they get along good. I actually, and I said this a couple weeks ago, I found a way to correct that problem without asking critical questions. And that was in my stay interviews, taking my guys to lunch, just talking. I found out one of my guys he's a carpenter. he takes a few too many trips to the store, and he didn't like to take directions from Will because they were both hired about the same time. And they don't have an issue. It's just Sherman wants to go off and do his own thing. And I didn't know that until I took a third member to lunch, just asking how things are going and what are some things you change on this crew, because I know I don't know everything. And I found out they're all minor things, but they can be bigger if there's a bunch of them. So my guys were able to tattle on each other without tattling. They were just explaining it out of pure care for me and the company. Like, this is not good. He goes to the store middle of the day, and he could have done that after work because it was for another job. I don't know why he left in the middle of the day. And I'm like, I'm glad to know that. And now we're going to have a roundtable meeting, and we're just going to discuss, hey, what can we do to make our jobs more efficient? And then that's what we're going to talk about. We don't need to go 4 times a day to get materials. We should know the day before what we need. Instead of saying, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, it's what can we do? But I learned a lot of things. I've had 3 stay interviews. I've learned a lot of little things that I had no clue was going on. Just, they're small, but it could definitely end up being a big thing. And so that's how I got my guys to tattle on each other without tattling on each other.
I think that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Dude, it's phenomenal. I know you're hurting for money or whatever, and you don't have employees right now, but that works phenomenal. And I don't worry about the team because I spend 80% of my team management with one person and only 20% with the others. If I'm communicating with the rest of the team, it's not leadership stuff. It's just how you doing, checking on things, family, whatever. I'm not telling them how to do something better. I'm going to tell Will, deal with it. I can leave and go to the next thing. It's working great right now. So that's good.
Can I say something? I'm sorry. Okay, so I've hit rock bottom myself, and I'm just like grateful that, a lot of things have happened recently. But I would love to be able to have y'all skills, because I came in without being a painter. And so listening to y'all and saying, I have it, how do you say that? I don't know, I have my cake and I can eat it too. I never understood that saying, but I can, I have to utilize my time better, my management. But as I listened to y'all throughout this whole time of being on Mastermind, I'm going, oh my gosh, I need to take advantage of my situation. Like I run a sub model. And so I've learned a lot. I've let go. It's hard because I try to get in there. I've done a few jobs myself, but on this hitting rock bottom, I was telling my husband, I got a few jobs. You go help out. I know it's a small one, but it helped get the momentum going. But he told me, he sat down with me, we looked at each other and he said, you go do what you do. I'm a perica. I can talk, I can parrot, I have that skill of gab. And so I want to go out there and I want to go make sure it's right. Cause it falls through the cracks sometimes, but I go over there and I smooth it over, but it gets the momentum going. So you have that, you speak really well, you're very articulate, you can go get client acquisition like I'm doing myself and just let that go. And I don't know if your subs are good or not, or if your helper can do it. Cause I know we've been able to do two people on there, get over there, start it, let it go, and then bring somebody else on, they can come in. But like I said, I'm not a painter and I'm starting to pick it up and get my systems back in place and move forward. And I don't know, you have a lot of gold on your plate right now. You got a lot of skill, Bryce. I know you can drop that paintbrush and get out there. It's going to happen. And a lot of prayer and specific, help.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I know that really the 2 problems here, one is I'm broke. I'm super broke. And all of that is on me. All of that is on me. Because I had a really skilled guy that was my lead. And then randomly, like one day he was like supposed to be on the job site and he was getting paid like $25 an hour. And he was supposed to be on a job site. And I call him, I'm like, hey man, you're running late. Like, where you at? And he was just like, yeah, you know what? If you want me to come work for you, I need $31 an hour.
Oh, I got run into that too.
Like, it's one of those deals where it's like, where that through, and I've had this happen like year after year, where I've struggled to retain good talent, where the spring will come and I will get an entire schedule laid out, like a really great summertime schedule. We'll have all these really awesome jobs ready to rock and roll. And right as it's about to get hot and heavy, one of my best painters leaves. And then all of a sudden now I'm scrambling and I've got like less qualified people that are good at what they're doing. They can cut a room, they can roll a room, do whatever, but they're not going to operate a full job site. They don't have the skills to spray a home. And even when they do, it's not at the level that we need. And so like the cash flow issue I'm going to solve by just brute force, which is not ideal, but I've done it before. But like the management stuff really comes in. And I think also it's about not getting down on yourself and having a positive attitude,
Yeah.
like really going for it. There's no skill that I lack in order for me to actually have a successful business. It's just like getting into habits and having the systems and being really diligent about those habits and systems and checking in on people and working with people, and like in hiring. Like I've had a terrible habit of hiring for charity, where it's, oh, you're down on your luck. All right, we'll figure out something for you to do. We'll get you there. And the truth is, like, the people that you end up hiring just because they're in a rough spot, it never works. They're never grateful. They're in a rough spot, bad decisions. And just because you start handing them money doesn't mean they're going to start making good decisions. And my job can't be to be a counselor. Let's talk about money management. It's, oh man, I just need to teach people how to be a painter or to administrate a painting company.
Okay, it's all about hiring for character. You got a big heart, you need to hire for character so we can have a big wallet. Sake of time, we gotta move along. Sonia, you're up.
Okay, the system's in place, but exercising, like I get bored with all my exercise, and I know that's lately been helping me get out of my funks and keeping my mindset and going in there, but trying to keep up. I'm a little tired from all the going door to door and doing a lot of the networking and just, what do you call it? I don't know. I've been estimating, and so I'm tired. Gyms, is that do y'all do gyms or do y'all just go? I did a walk. I like to just get out there in nature and just walk. That helps a lot.
So a couple thoughts. One is cardio gives you energy. So the hack for cardio is find a sport you love. Find a sport you love. So for me, it's mountain biking. Oh my gosh, I went 6 times last week. And I had no idea of the parks and mountain biking trails here in Knoxville are incredible. Like tons of fun. And I'm trying to find and get as many people as I can to come along and get involved and whatnot. For cardio, find a sport you love. It's really a hack to cardio. For some, it might be basketball for the younger guys, right? Or tennis, or what's that, pickleball. Find a cardio you love. Yeah, swimming. There you go. Swimming's a good one.
Swimming and skating.
If you can, it's got to be an easy process too. Like in Florida, we couldn't just jump in a pond and do that because we would turn out to be gator bait. Yeah. And find one you like, whether it's biking, mountain bike. So that's just something I enjoy. It's easy on the knees. It used to be running, but then running is hard on the knees. And for me, biking's a lot more fun. Biking, on the road or mountain biking is a lot more fun, especially on the road because you can get going fast. After you kill it, you can take a break and then just cruise and catch a nice breeze. But running, you can't do that. After you kill it, you got to walk and just sit there and stand there and sweat for a minute. Right? And it's hard on the knees. So I prefer biking over running. But gym, functional fitness, strong bones. Right after this, straight to the gym. Then after the gym, I'm probably going to go and hit some trails on a mountain biking and then get back and I'll rinse stuff in time for the next meeting.
Do you
But
have
how
like
about you guys?
still gym? I know you quit Planet Fitness. I don't like Planet Fitness anyways, but I know they're more economical and they're 24 hours, I think.
Yeah, they've got a lot of benefits, so it's unfortunate, but yeah. What was your question about the gym?
Oh, just as far as like a membership, like what is a reasonable thing to look at for a gym for their memberships? I know.
I would just call a few gyms in the area, ask them if they're 24 hours and ask them what their monthlies are. Also know that every gym charges you an additional month when you cancel. It's some kind of racket that they've all agreed to do. I don't understand it. I don't agree with it, but it's all part of the racket. But I would just call 2 or 3 of them and just ask them to say, hey, are you open 24/7? And what's your monthly fee? Yeah, they'll all range from $10 to $30-ish a month.
Yeah, okay. I do have a pair of skates. I do love to skate, roller skate. I'm no roll bounce person, but I do like to skate.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, find a cardio. And then any other thoughts for Sonia, guys?
Actually, something I don't like doing, and that's running. But it's easy because I have a treadmill in my office, so it's right here, right there. I run at 5 a.m. in the mornings, except for Mastermind. I'll run at 6, but my treadmill is right there. I have iFit, so I've been running in Hawaii. I've been running all these different countries. For my mind, I just need that visual. I would rather be out mountain biking, but I'm not going to mountain bike at 5 a.m. in the dark and get run over by dogs out there. And by the time I come home from work, I don't want to exercise. For me, I run in my treadmill in my office because it's
Okay.
consistent. No matter the weather, I can do it. And for me, I need to have consistency. Otherwise, I'll lose focus. So,
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. My son got a house and he took his gym out of my garage and I'm like, ah. So I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah. Okay.
And then,
Cool.
Jesus, you've been going to the gym, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
All right, time to roll out with takeaways. Daryl, lead the way, please.
all right, I'm gonna go back and look at that slide edge. I don't know how I missed that, and then I'm gonna set my guys up on You Can Book Me a link because that's gonna be really cool. But I'm gonna actually set up an SOP and go over there with my guys. That way we know somebody approaches you, give them a call and say, "Hey, do you want me to look at our calendar right now?" And we can go ahead and set you up an appointment right now. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yep. And maybe an alternative option is how about I text you the link to it?
Yeah.
So then you send them the link. If they're like, I don't want to book it right now, well, let me at least send them the link.
Yeah.
And then maybe they'll book it later. So that's just the option. Awesome. Thank you, Daryl. Craig?
Just active recruiting. So not just
Yeah.
an add on Indeed, but just asking around. So I generally ask my guys if they know somebody when I'm hiring. They can give me a referral. But yeah, just even when I'm in Home Depot or wherever, just asking around too.
Yep,
That's
that's
my
good.
takeaway.
Or stop at these places, even if you don't have to buy something
Mhm.
to go look for somebody. That's what Ben did at Wendy's. All right. Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, like Darren said, share the Calendly with my team and
Mhm.
promote the team if we get a job, or talk to my crew leader and finish on time. That's another one. Hire for characters, exercise biking, which I haven't done in the past. I have 2 bikes in the garage and sitting there, so I have to fix them. Book influence, and that's what I have so far.
Awesome. Right on. That's a nice list. Thank you, Florian.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes.
Conch?
How hard will I have to work? I like that question, Steve. So you got to see the whole
Mhm.
picture, break it down so you don't get so overwhelmed.
Mhm. Yeah, right on. Very good. Thank you, Bryce.
Doing stay interviews. I think that's a fantastic way to try
amazing.
to stay on top of people and really retain
Mhm.
people and make sure everything's going the way it's supposed to go.
Right on. Very good. Thank you. And Sonia, close us out with your takeaways, please.
Same, the perceptual contrast. What was that book? Perceptual contrast.
Influence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Cialdini.
Okay. Yeah, that one.
One of the best sales and marketing books I ever read. It was the first book Bob Berg told me to read. All right, fantastic. Thank you. I want to encourage you to continue to dream big, hustle smarter. You've got this.
Yes.